Let's be real for a sec. You clicked on this explainer because you are absolutely down to your bones exhausted. You're so tired of hitting those week streaks, right? Sitting alone in the dark glow of your phone screen at 2 a.m., deleting tabs in total silence, and resetting that counter app in absolute crushing shame. You're low-key down bad, and it is a vicious, miserable cycle that drains your soul before your day even begins. But look, I am not here to give you some generic toxic positivity self-help or lecture you like a disappointed dad. I'm here to expose exactly why you keep failing, using cold, hard psychology.
Plot twist. Your continuous relapses aren't random, like at all. Ask yourself, is it actually about discipline or is it about emotional regulation? I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Your failures literally have nothing to do with a lack of willpower. Your dopamine system is acting like a spoiled iPad kid, and you keep trying to punish it into submission. And guess what? When you just try to restrict your behavior without replacing the underlying need, you are fighting your own biology, and biology always wins.
Bro, I swear this was the last time. Why do I keep failing this? Yeah, we know that late-night internal monologue living rent-free in your head. But man, that guilt tripping isn't going to save you. You keep making these massive emotional promises to yourself after an agonizingly stressful day, feeling completely numb, wondering if maybe you're actually addicted to the escape rather than the pleasure itself. You are fighting the wrong battle entirely.
It is all about strategy over motivation. That is the core truth you need to absorb. What you are missing isn't more delusional hustle culture motivation or trying to force some fake main character energy. Listen, motivation relies heavily on your prefrontal cortex, which is the logical, decision-making part of your brain. But here's the catch. Your prefrontal cortex practically shuts down when you are stressed, tired, or emotionally drained. That is exactly why your discipline always collapses at midnight. You don't need hype. You need a cold, psychological strategy. To get there, we have to look at the actual brain chemistry of addiction. So let's get into Section 1, the Rat Park Revolution. To expose exactly why your discipline collapses under stress, we have to look at this absolutely brutal 1970s study by American psychologist Dr. Bruce Alexander. Trust me, this is going to completely reconstruct how you view your own habits and that relentless urge to escape.
Okay, so Dr. Alexander placed rats in isolated cages, all alone, and he gave them 2 bottles, plain water and cocaine-laced water. The lonely, isolated rats continuously drank the cocaine water until they overdosed and died. It seemed like the drug itself was simply irresistible, right? But then, he completely flipped the script. He built Rat Park, this sprawling, awesome enclosure with toys, comfortable sleep areas, and crucially, a vibrant community of other rats. When given the exact same 2 bottles, the socially fulfilled rats preferred the plain water. They ignored the drugs entirely, literally 0 overdoses. He concluded that animals form addictions when their other needs are not fulfilled. The scary part? This exact same neurobiological circuitry applies to you. I mean, think about it. When your environment is empty, when you are starved of genuine human connection, your brain biologically panics and desperately seeks immediate chemical relief.
Which brings us to Section 2. Your bedroom is the cage. Wake up, because right now, sitting alone in your room, doom-scrolling endlessly to avoid the quiet, you are literally the rat in the empty cage. You aren't lacking discipline, you are medicating an incredibly stressful environment.
Welcome to the modern cage. Look, today, you don't worry about wild animals or starvation. Your physical survival needs are entirely met, but your social needs, they are completely starved. Algorithms have high-key hijacked your attention, so what do? You use cheap internet entertainment as emotional DoorDash, fast dopamine, 0 actual nourishment, and profound regret afterward. It is pure brain rot designed to artificially soothe the panic of our modern attention crisis, just helping you cope with the overwhelming emptiness of modern life. And if you think I'm exaggerating, the data is absolutely terrifying. A 2019 study exposed a super uncomfortable truth. 25% of millennials have absolutely 0 close friends. 1 in 4 people has literally no one to genuinely connect with. We are living in an era of unprecedented social starvation, and your primitive brain honestly does not know the difference between being socially isolated and being physically in danger. But wait, it gets weirder. A full third of all millennials surveyed reported feeling extremely lonely very often. Think about what that actually means for your brain chemistry. When you are chronically lonely, your cortisol levels spike. You feel stressed, anxious, and agitated all the time. Your compulsive habit, your quote-unquote addiction, is really just the emotional smoke alarm for your loneliness. You are reaching for the cocaine water because your cage is empty.
Here is the mental slap you need today. You don't actually crave the screen. You crave relief from the empty cage. You will never ever shake this overstimulation and shame cycle until you step out of your isolation. You have to build real relationships and find intimate connections to replace that cheap dopamine. But I know what you're thinking. How do you actually do that when you feel so completely drained?
That leads us to Section 3, weaponizing your excess energy. Here's the kicker. Just stopping the bad habit won't magically grant you a thriving social life. White-knuckling your way through an urge doesn't magically build a relationship. You need to systematically leverage the biological byproduct of this challenge.
Let's be very clear about what abstaining actually does for you. The true benefit isn't some mystical, glowing aura. Sure, you get some mental clarity and confidence, but the main, undeniable benefit is raw, aggressive excess energy. When you stop sedating yourself every night, your nervous system finally wakes up. And if you don't intentionally use this energy, it is just going to turn back into cortisol, create immense frustration, and practically guarantee a relapse.
You must weaponize this energy to systematically build new habits. Step 1. Transform your body by working out and eating well. This resets your baseline dopamine. Step 2. Build mental strength and emotional regulation through meditation. This is literally hitting the gym for your prefrontal cortex. Step 3. Gain success by honing a project or a skill, making yourself inherently valuable. And Step 4. The absolute shortest route to escaping your cage, force yourself to talk to strangers, at meetups, on apps, or just out in the actual real world.
When you channel your raw energy into those specific habits, the payoff is absolutely undeniable. You get visible physical change. Meditation brings increased empathy and wit, making you way less sensitive to negative emotions and social rejection. Honing a project gives you attractive skills, and talking to people drastically improves your social calibration. You are literally building the exact toolkit needed to effortlessly date, make friends, and stop being so damn lonely.
So here is the game plan. Build relationships, escape the cage, forget the streak. Once you use this excess energy to build meaningful connections, to find a community, to find someone to share intimate time with, your needs are finally met. And when your social needs are met, just like the rats in Rat Park, you will literally forget about your old addiction entirely. It simply drops out of your life because the emotional smoke alarm is no longer ringing. No cap, it just fades away.
I want to leave you with a final, uncomfortable truth. Stop counting days. Start building your rat park. Drop the cringe, delusional obsession with holding on to a 365-day streak on some app. Counting days implies you're just holding your breath, waiting to inevitably fail. You need a radical identity shift. Focus entirely on building habits that make your life so full, so socially rich that the addiction literally starves to death. So I will leave you with this. Is NoFap actually about discipline, or is it about emotional regulation? Has modern technology destroyed your self-control, or did it just highlight how empty your cage was? Are you going to keep staring at the wall, or are you going to start building your rat park today? Think about it.